afternoon. My name is Austin Wells, reporting from Los Angeles, California for the Global News. Today, the World Food Program has announced that Sudan is officially the worst humanitarian situation in the world, with over 8.8 million people currently displaced, millions at critical famine level, and many, many more needing medical attention. It's clear that the toll of Sudan's civil war has taken shape over the country. And it's important here. We wanted to discuss it a bit here on Global about what's going on in this country and how a situation so drastic has gone relatively under the radar globally. It's important to understand that Sudan's difficult time in history has been throughout thousands of years. Its particular geographical position means it is both a very dry and extremely hot area of the world on the Sahara. But areas around the upper part of the Nile have meant that there have been some agricultural and civilization building occurring there. But for most of Sudan's history, it has been hit with considerable environmental degradation, violence, and economic and geopolitical problems. In the last 200 years, British colonialism considerably altered the history and architecture of the region. Now they speak English, understand British norms and customs, and have almost no identity, especially not the one they originally came with, and is even more confused when you take into account the diversity, ethnic, and cultural differences between many of the regions of Sudan. These cultural differences after decolonization from the British are what participated to essentially 70 to 80 years of consistent conflict and destabilization. In 2011, Sudan was broken into two countries, Sudan and South Sudan. The situation following this has only further destabilized the country, and because of it now, Sudan is in one of the worst humanitarian situations, according to the World Food Program. At this point, there are millions of people in dire economic, political, and environmental need. And with so many people facing some of the worst conditions on earth, it's become clear that Sudan will become the next large country to fall and grip with instability at a level we have not seen since. This year, we've already seen quite a lot of tragedy. Haiti has completely collapsed and fallen apart. Yemen is on the brink. South Sudan, its neighbor to Sudan, is facing growing problems. A near civil conflict in Senegal, growing instability in Myanmar, conflict in Gaza, and the war in Ukraine continuing have all sent very worrying future warnings to humanity about what can happen globally. As economic issues continue in Venezuela, problems in Mali and Niger, and even further issues across Central Asia with flooding in southern Russia, central Russia and Kazakhstan, it's clear that there are problems growing all around the world. And I think the situation in Sudan paints a very worrying future for us all. This was a country that was beginning to stabilize, then a civil war, then another war in its own country, a genocide, considerable environmental damage, considerable economic problems, and now an ongoing famine has meant that a country once seen as a possibility of development has become a fear for the world. Thank you. Stay tuned for more this week.